Hello and welcome back. Today I'll be covering the 2022 governor elections. I'll be doing a prediction as of November 2021, a year away from the midterms. And yesterday was just the major elections were Virginia and New Jersey's governor elections, and finding out the Republicans will be taking Virginia and the Democrats will be retaining New Jersey. So we're going to get started now. So we're going to start with the safe Republican states: Idaho, Wyoming, South Dakota, Nebraska, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Tennessee, Alabama, South Carolina, Alaska, and I forgot the Northeast: Vermont, Massachusetts, and that gives the Republicans 20 states to begin. Going to the Democrats: California, New York, and Hawaii. The rest are going to be within 15%, leaving 21 seats. Going back to the Republicans: Texas, Florida, Ohio, Iowa, New Hampshire, Kansas, all going to be going. Well, Texas, I'm going to go individual states here. Texas will probably go to Abbott around 10 to probably 14 points. Improvements in the suburbs due to less involvement with Democrats in this race and a lot of independents turning against Biden. We saw this in Virginia's northern suburbs as well as Richmond suburbs and Virginia Beach area, with high turnout among Republicans, almost matching the amount of votes Trump did in 2016 in an odd-year election. Ron DeSantis being very popular and polling quite highly there as well. I don't really see him having too many chances. I don't believe the Democrats will put too much effort into this race. Trump won the state by about 3.5 points in an off-year election. Ron DeSantis will probably win it by about 6 to 7 points, with high approval among Hispanics as well as whites out there. Independents also favoring him strongly. Kansas will flip. Barbara Boiler won in a very interesting race with Kobach in 2018, a very unpopular Republican. Barbara Boiler being more in the middle. Voters very narrowly went to her within 5 points of margin, and now it's going to flip back to the Republicans. Iowa going 8 points to Trump, and the current governor out there being quite popular, and Ohio also going 8 points to Trump in 2020. Both these states will probably go around the same margins. I'm saying probably 10 to 15 points. In Ohio, there is a chance, though, that Mike DeWine is not the nominee. Where is it here? Mike DeWine currently having a 70% chance of retaining, being the nominee, and about a 30% chance that Jim Ronchetti is to take it. New Hampshire, Chris Sununu is not to be running for re-election, but Republicans have done quite well there in the governorship. So I believe the Republicans will be able to use the prior administration as a key to re-electing a Republican out there, probably in the moderate sense as well. Going back to the Democrats: Oregon, Colorado, Illinois, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Maryland. All these states going to probably go around similar margins. Oregon probably will be 8 to 10 points. Previously, in 2018, it was actually very narrow. It was around 7-point margin. Oregon will be interesting depending upon who the Republicans nominate. It's going to be narrower than a 15-point margin, though. Colorado, the state went to Biden around 13 points. With less Democratic turnout, I believe it'll narrow down probably to about an 8-point victory for the Democrats. Illinois, 17-point victory for Biden. The suburbs being historically conservative out there. And not going to Trump, but in 2018, the Republicans were able to perform quite well out there, almost winning them. Just having issues in the rural area due to a third-party candidate and the Republican candidate not being popular. Maryland, Larry Hogan is retiring, and it might as well could be a safe race out there. Just waiting on who's going to run still, but I don't believe the Republicans will be able to retain their governorship out there. Connecticut, just going to be a little narrower, but it's not going to probably flip unless there's a strong campaign. Same with Rhode Island. So now 26-15. The rest of the states are going to be within 5 points. Going back to the Republicans, Brian Kemp in Georgia being reelected, Doug Ducey not being on the ballot for this election here. He will not be able to run for re-election. It looks like, where's she at? Carrie Lake is her name, I believe. Where is it? Yeah, Carrie Lake, 80% chance of being nominated, and now Republicans having over a 60% chance of winning out there. A state that wins the Biden by less than a point will not have too many issues for Republicans to be able to retain the state. Wisconsin, I forgot to mention, is going to be in the likely margin, or possibly lean, but I believe it's going to be in the likely margin. The state shifting in the 2020 election to the right, even though the national average shifted 2 points left from the 2016 election to 2020. It shifted 2 points left, but Wisconsin only shifted about a point to the left, meaning the state moved a point to the right, actually. With more suburban people out there supporting Republicans and independents coming out for the Republicans in Virginia, I believe Wisconsin could be won by about 5.5 points for the Republican. It could be in a lean margin, but it'll be close in a likely area. So going back to the lean margin, was Michigan, Nevada, going lean Republican. That is all, for the Republicans. Okay, so we're going to go to Nevada first, a state that went 2 points to Joe Biden, the Republican candidate, whoever it may be. It seems like it's going to be Dean Heller. Could be Joe Lombardo as well. It's going to be pretty close. Pretty good name recognition the Republicans have out there, and the Democrats going to have a lot of trouble with less Democratic turnout in a state that's very close. Michigan as well. There's going to be probably Craig going to be the nominee for the Republicans out there. The state went to Biden by about 2 points, and a 2-point swing is not too hard to do in a wave year. Going back to the Democrats, Minnesota, New Mexico, and Maine. So now the Democrats are at 18 seats. In New Mexico, the Republican, I was not expecting this race to be too close, a state that Biden won around 11 points, but Jim Ronchetti announced he will be running for election there. He kept the state within 5 points in the 2020 election statewide for the Senate race out there, and I believe he could get this race, even possibly flip it. We have to just see some polling data first and probably some betting odds come out for there, but the state is going to be competitive in the 2022 election cycle. Minnesota going to Biden by about 7 points. It's going to be narrow, but I don't know if the Republicans are going to be able to flip it. Really depends upon who the Republicans nominate out there, but I do see it still leaning towards the Democrats. Maine, there's no real Republicans that have too much name recognition that have any announcements yet. The state went to Biden by about 9, and it'll probably go about 4 points to the Democratic nominee. Going back now for the last state, Pennsylvania. Currently, I'm going to tilt it towards the Democrats. It's really a coin flip at this point in time. Pennsylvania, there's quite a strong Democratic candidate, Shapiro, versus whoever the Republicans nominate. It seems that, let me pull up, Lou Barletta is going to be the nominee. Could be Doug Mastriano, though, as well. But it's going to be a close race. Currently, about a 55% chance the Democrats win and a 45% chance the Republicans win. The Democrats have a slight advantage currently because of the likely nominee of Shapiro. Shapiro being a very strong Democratic name out there. So now, 31 Republicans, 19 Democrat seats. The Republicans are flipping Nevada, Wisconsin, Kansas, Michigan, and is that all? Yes. Okay. And the Democrats flipping Maryland. Pennsylvania being a coin flip currently. 31 to 19. Thank you for watching. I'll be doing probably a monthly update on the Senate and governorship elections. As we get closer to the midterms, it'll be more frequent. But we're currently a year out, and we don't have a complete idea on all the nominees yet. Thank you for watching. Please go subscribe and like the video.